Hello friends! I am so excited to be here live with you on Friday at my normal time, 11:30 a.m. Central, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. This is the time I normally go live, so if you are around on a Friday or you like to take your lunch at this time, I hope you tune in. Hello, Heather. Oh, I'm so glad. Heather said, you made me confident with the Turnabout. And I hope that today's live will make more people confident with the Turnabout. I just love Turnabouts and I'm excited about this new one from the latest July release from Concord and 9th. Hello, Holly. Howdy to you. Who else is here? Jen is here. Carol Weatherspoon is here. Hello, Carol. Nice to see you. Hello, Mela from Austria. Nice to have you here on your evening, your Friday evening, hanging out with me. I love that. I love that. So it's been a big week for me. You know, in the summer we try to keep our kids busy, and so a few months ago I thought it was a good idea to get my daughter into zoo camp. And it's pretty cool, right? It's like her most expensive camp of the summer. It's pretty cool. She gets to hang out at the zoo and see all the behind the scenes and walk around to the, like, you know, areas where only the zookeepers go in. But it's like a 45-minute drive for me with traffic in the morning. So every day, rush hour morning, rush hour afternoon, I've been going to the zoo. And so I'm happy to be here with you guys, not in my car. I've had a lot of car time this week. Yeah, 6:30 p.m. in Austria, a great time for me. That's perfect. After dinner or before dinner, maybe you have a cocktail. I hope you do. Hope you do, Mela. I'm looking forward to that in my 5 o'clock hour. So without being in the car and a cocktail. So I hope you guys are having a great summer. I know there's a lot of people vacationing right now, so maybe you're tuning in later and you're watching on replay. Be sure to leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button if you would do for me. Hopefully more people will find this video so they can know the magic of the Turnabouts. I am going to go to my down screen and show you what I'm creating today. So we are going to be working with the new Delightful Day bundle. This is a fantastic Turnabout stamp. So you have your large Turnabout here, you have a separate flower with a stem, and then you have some great sentiments. So you have a lovely day, you deserve it, I think you're, thanks for thinking of me. Now this coordinates, and this is a very important part of your Turnabout stamp. So I'll show you how to use that in a second. This coordinates with the Delightful Days dies. I love this. Let me show you. How cool is that? You can switch out beautiful for delightful or fantastic. I just think it's so pretty. You can really layer this up for a lot of dimension. So cool. Then you have your dies for the flower and your stem. You have a little heart. So cute. And then you have some kind of leaf dies here so that you can cut out some leaves. Here's those dies right here. So if you want to, you know, create a little floral scene, you can do that. But this is like probably my favorite part of this bundle. I just love that sentiment and I think it looks really cool. Okay, so Jen said I ordered this on release day. Yay! So then when it arrives, you'll have inspiration to use it, Jen. Jackie says hello. Hello, Jackie. I love the Turnabouts and ordered the Delightful Day dies. Can't wait for them to arrive. I know. You guys are just going to love them. And I figured that most of the people watching today were Concord and 9th fans, and you probably already have these on order. If you don't, check out the link in my video description below to shop the Delightful Day bundle. I've also put the Delightful Day stamp and the dies separately there, so if you don't want to buy the whole bundle, you can do that. Jackie said it would be cool if Concord and 9th made stencils that would do the same thing as their Turnabout stamps. That is a great idea, Jackie. I'll be sure to let Greg know that. I got Greg on text, which is awesome. So I can just say, hey, Greg, great idea from Jackie. Okay, so let's get right into this. I don't know if we'll go the full hour today, but we might. We'll see. I have a few color combinations that I made that I've never made before, and I was so excited about them, so I wrote the colors down, so I'm going to do 2 of those today, and then I want you guys to give me a color combination. Now, my daughter's texting me from zoo camp, so we're just going to make sure that she's alive and hasn't been eaten. Thank you, Sai. hasn't been eaten by a large cat or something. Um, my husband works from home on Fridays, so he works right across the room from me and listens to my antics, but he's used to them, so it's funny. So she's petting goats. It's okay. She is petting goats. Okay. So, oh, that's a cute goat. Thank you. So when you use the Turnabout stamps, it always happens on a live. You're going to need a Turnabout jig. This does not come with your Turnabout stamp. So this is a separate purchase. So if you don't have any Turnabouts, you don't have a Turnabout jig, make sure you add this to your cart. I've linked that below in the video description. You just have to hit the more button. If you have trouble finding it, YouTube makes it really hard. Just hit more, and then you'll find it. Okay, thank you, Sai. So the Turnabout jig is the most important part of the Turnabout stamp because it keeps everything aligned for you. So it's really, really important. Okay, what we're gonna do first before we take out our stamp platform is get our stamp lined up on our guide. Okay, so check this out. This comes with your stamp set. Okay, this is your guide. And I will also show you, the Turnabout jig is not only great because it does all the things, but it also has a very handy booklet, which I love. So say you haven't done your Turnabouts in a while and you've forgotten, then just take this out and it shows you exactly what you're supposed to do. So we're calling this the alignment aid. I had to call it the right thing. You're welcome, Jackie. Okay, when you take these off, this is what I like to do. Stick it in your jig folder because you're always going to lose those things on your desk. You will lose them and then it will be very frustrating and then you will accidentally throw it away. And I hate losing my acetate. I hate it. Okay, we're taking off our stamp. Being careful doing it, right? You don't want to tear anything. And then you want the surface of the stamp that you're going to ink up. So that's underneath at the bottom on my hands. You are going to place that on your alignment aid, right? It is going to line up absolutely perfectly because it was designed with the same design file as the alignment aid. So when it lines up perfectly, you should not see any of white around the images. You should only see black. So if you see white, you know you're off by a tiny bit. The thing with this is that you can't just plop it down and think it's going to be fine. Let me go in a little bit closer here. Hello, Jenny G. Don't worry, we're just lining up our stamp first. You don't want to plop the whole thing down in one go. Okay, this is not a plop and go sort of situation. What you want to do is get it in place. Get it in place. Each part may need to be finagled a little bit, right? But here's the great thing about Turnabouts. Once you do this step, you only have to do it one time and then you could create as many backgrounds as your heart desires. That's what I love about it. So you do this once and you are pretty much set. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna give this one a little finagle up here. And let me just show you, I think I can show you on camera what it should look like. Okay, see how here you can't really see any of the white. Now look, if I move that slightly, see how you can see the white at the bottom of that leaf? That would be wrong. So you want to make it so that it is just on the black part, because if this is not lined up properly on here, then it's not going to be lined up properly on your background. Okay, so I'm going to go back wide. So there we go. There's that step. I'm going to make sure that this is on there. Good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Now you want to take your alignment aid with your stamp on it and you want to grab your stamp platform with your Turnabout jig. Oh, you're getting much needed rain. That's good. That is good. We had a lot this week too with the hurricane coming up through the Midwest. Okay. So you are not putting, and I've seen this misnomer a little bit, you are not putting this alignment aid to the corner. Your jig goes in the corner. Your alignment aid lines up with the X. It is not in the corner. The alignment aid lines up the X on the alignment aid lines up with the X on the Turnabout jig, and the Turnabout jig X is white and the alignment aid X is black. You don't want to just line it up in the center, you want to line it up on the legs of the X as well. So again, it's going to take a little bit of finagling to make sure it's perfect, but once it is, don't touch anything and close it. Now, we didn't take the acetate off of our jig yet, right? So that's not sticky. So the only thing this is going to stick to is my door of my MISTI. Then I'm going to gently take off my alignment aid, put that in the folder of my Turnabout jig because we don't want to lose it. Then I'm going to take off my Turnabout jig acetate, put that in my folder too because we don't want to lose it. So all of that is in one neat spot. And then I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock and put this in, make sure I have it the way I want it to go. Put this in lined up with the A2 cardstock. There's a little template there for an A2 size piece of cardstock. So you can start horizontally or vertically. I usually start vertically. I love that you guys are like nearby and you're talking about what you're doing, where you're at. That's so cool. Okay, so the hardest part is done, and now all you have to do is ink and turn. Ink, turn, clean. Turn, ink, clean. And over again. So once you have this done, don't move it. Just make as many panels as your little heart desires, or as many panels as you can come up with color combinations for. So speaking of color combinations, the first one I'm going to do is Tide Pool, Creamsicle, Lemongrass, and Rainforest. Love this one. Love, love, love. We're going to start with Tide Pool. And I have some baby wipes here, and I will warn you, my hands will be like dark blue by the end of this. It's just the nature of turnabouts, because you're working with a lot of ink and you're turning stuff and then you're cleaning your Turnabout jig, and it's just a lot of inkiness, Now, my Turnabout jig is in the corner. You always want to make sure it stays in that corner. I'm going to get a stamp press here, and I'm starting with Tide Pool. I've been using the heck out of some Tide Pool lately, so hopefully this is all gonna ink out okay. Jackie said she's over summer already. We still got a ways to go, Jackie. Lisa says, I love Turnabout, such an innovative concept. Yes, yes it is. And I think we can thank Greg at Concord and 9th for this one. I think he was the mastermind of Turnabouts, but the C9 team just keeps coming up with amazing ones. They just keep on doing it. Okay, so I usually stamp twice, and remember, your ink is going to kind of chill out over time. At first you're like, oh, that looks a little bit mottled, but it will smooth itself out and look amazing. I just cleaned my stamp. I want to let that dry for a second. Then I'm going to turn. So we started at 1 in the upper right corner. Now I'm going to go to 2 in the upper right corner. Okay. And then I want to make sure, really want to make sure that your stamp is not wet at all. If it's wet, it's going to make your images not look that great. So let's go to Creamsicle. Oh, Tammy, you haven't used Turnabouts yet. Well, I hope you will just be amazed, because it's just such a great way to create amazing backgrounds. And the thing I love about Turnabout stamps is that, like I said, you can sit and do an hour-long session and make like 6 or 7 backgrounds. Then all you have to do is create a sentiment for each one and you're good to go. It creates a quick and easy card. So this is turn 2, and I'm using Creamsicle, which is such a pretty orange. Look at that. I love teal and orange together. I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to ink that up again. I think it's time for me after summer camp to re-ink all of my 2024 collection colors, especially watermelon, since, you know, I used to water a lot of watermelon. I made cards like for days with the C9 summer camp cards. Like, just tried different things before I came up with my final card designs. So I used a lot of ink. Look how pretty that is. Okay, now I'm gonna clean my stamp. Remember, we're not moving the stamp, we're only moving the jig. Now, you can also go on the sides of your jig here if you get some ink there. And this is what makes your fingers kind of inky when you're cleaning this. Okay, we're gonna go to numero 3. And again, I'm gonna make sure the stamp is nice and dry. So how many of you guys here already use Turnabouts and just love them? Show of hands. Okay, next we're going to a color that I didn't know if it was gonna work, but I gave it a try and it turned out, and that's lemongrass. Such a pretty, like, yellowy green. And it does work so well with this color combination. It's definitely the unexpected color of the bunch. One thing that I did when I was doing these was I went back and referenced our color challenge for summer camp. So if you were involved in summer camp, on Saturday night, we paired up and did color challenges. So we had to take the entire Concord and Night color selection and make colorways like of 4 and 5. I think 4 and 5 is what we could use. And now if that happens and it picks up your jig, no worries, just pull it off and put it back in the corner. And so I went back and referenced my photo that I took of those color combinations, because Carissa Wiley and I came up with some really good ones that I never had thought to use before. But when you were in a pinch and you're trying to put mushrooms somewhere, or, you know, your fig somewhere, then we came up with some really good ones. So I actually referenced that to come up with some of these. Okay, our last one is going to be turn number 4. So number 4 is up in this corner here, and we are going to do rainforest. Now, whenever I'm doing these color combinations, I like to have one color that's really contrasting, so kind of the darkest hue, and rainforest is perfect for this color combination because it's like a really dark teal. Has more green in it than blue, but a tiny bit of blue. And this is turn number 4. And this is going to finish out our background. You can do all 4 turns, or you can choose to do 1 and 3. You can choose to do, you know, 1, 2, and 3. It's totally up to you. I'm going to do this one more time just to make sure it's nice and dark. Jenny says, me, I own several. And Jen says, I have used them, but should use them a lot more than I have. Amen to that. Ooh, look at how dark that is and beautiful. I love this one. I love this color combination because it's more, I guess you would say more on the masculine side, but it's definitely an unexpected color combination. It just makes me happy. Look at how good that is. So that is Tide Pool, Creamsicle, Lemongrass, and Rainforest. And I will go back into the video afterward and add the color combinations that I use so that you guys can like make note of those. But how great is that? Isn't that beautiful? Roberta says the colors in Summer Camp 2024 are pretty versatile. That's so true. They are. They're great colors, Roberta. So don't move your stamp. Just keep making backgrounds, you guys. That's the greatest thing about this. You already did the hard work of lining everything up. So keep everything lined up and put down another piece of white cardstock, and then we'll do one more. Okay, so this one's a pretty one. And it uses, I feel like every one I make uses teal in some way, or some kind of light blue. Oh, I'm gonna turn that over because I got some ink on that one. Okay, lining that up on that A2 frame there. Gina says, question, how does a turnabout compare to a wreath builder? Well, Gina, a wreath builder goes in a circle, whereas a turnabout does as well, but it fills your whole card front. So you're turning the paper in a circle, but your wreath builder is going to make a circular form, whereas this one fills in your entire background. So I have used a wreath builder before, but typically only to create a wreath form. So this one creates an entire background for you. Hope that answers your question. So I've gone back to number 1. For this one's so pretty. I love it. We're going to use powder, sorbet, nectar, and avocado. Oh, Roberta says it's so much easier to use than a wreath builder. That's good to know, Roberta. Okay, so I'm starting with powder. I'm going to make sure this is dry. We do not want a wet stamp at all when you do this, because a wet stamp is going to give you kind of mottled effect. And sometimes you might want that for, like, you know, some kind of cool visual, but most of the time you don't. So powder's up first. Okay. Jen says, I need to remember to pull out Turnabout stamps when I'm stumped on what to create. Yeah, just make tons of backgrounds. That's so true, because you don't have to put a lot of thought process into it, Jen. All you have to do is come up with some color combinations. And I have yet to create a color combination with a Turnabout that I didn't like. There are some that I'm like, meh, but they always turn out pretty cool. And maybe that's because Concord and 9th has really great colors. Gina says, it does, thank you. That's what I thought, but I wanted to be sure. You're welcome, Gina. I hope you'll give the Turnabouts a try. And if you came in late, I'm using the Delightful Day bundle from Concord and 9th's release this week. And you can find the link to that in my video description below. Okay, cleaned that off, wiping it off a little bit to make sure that it's nice and dry. And then I'm turning this to number 2. We're going to go with Sorbet here, which is one of my favorite Concord and 9th colors. And it's so pretty when placed against the powder. So Sorbet is kind of the darker of the salmon-y colors. So you have grapefruit and you have Sorbet, and they play really beautifully together, especially with nectar. Ooh, it's a great color combination. I didn't use pink at all in any of my designs. Now, I want you to note here, I've only done 2 passes, okay? So when you do all 4, you're going to cover your entire card front, right? And for some designs, maybe you have a big sentiment or like a busy sentiment that you want to add on here. And this might be too much for you. Maybe you want more white space and you could just do 2 passes, or maybe you go one step further. So I'm going to stop at 3 and just show you what that looks like too. Roberta says too much mathing involved with Wreath Builder to get a perfect wreath. Yeah, math is not my strong suit either, Roberta, so I will agree with you there. There's a little bit of mathing involved. Or just placement, kind of getting placement right, I would say. So not like doing any equations, but just getting the placement right. Okay, so we're going with Nectar next. And you know what? I'm going to wipe off the sides here because that Sorbet ink is making me a little bit nervous. And I don't want it to get on anything. Okay, next we're going to Nectar for number 3. Kind of has like a 70s vibe right now. I like that. Trying to make sure my hair is not touching my mic either. I should really start pulling my hair back a little bit. Okay, here's Nectar, and I just love Nectar. I think it's the most beautiful. And I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I had a video come out on release day with Concord and 9th, and I'll show that card before we go today, but I super love that card. Super love it. And it uses these colors. So that's where I got this from. Look at how pretty that is. It has like a, ooh, don't drop it. Man, that was dangerous. I didn't. It's okay. My husband looked over at me like, did you ruin it? No, it's okay. And you know what? Even if I did drop the ink on the cardstock, we could just trim that down, put it on a colored panel, and it would be fine. Okay, so our last stamp of Nectar. Look at how pretty that is. I love it. Roberta says, measuring is not my strong suit. Agree. Yeah, not mine either. Okay, so that's what it looks like with 3 passes. So still a little bit of white space, but a little bit more than 2 passes. So if you want to stop there, maybe you can put a smaller sentiment down here. I'm going to go all the way to 4 because I want to add in the avocado. So after I'm done with this, I'll pull my card down from behind me and I'll show you what it looks like. This color combination looks like with a totally different bundle. I am dropping my ink all over the place. Okay, so make sure your 4 is at the top. Make sure your jig is in that corner every single time you go to stamp before you ink up. Okay, and we're gonna go to avocado. Yes, holly, it does have a fall vibe. You're right. Look at that. Oh, love it. With the blue, there's something about that kind of powder blue. It's like a porcelain blue to me. I love that. And these warmer colors that just does it for me. And I can't get enough of this color combination. Just can't. So when you go to take off your paper from your jig, you don't want to pull it off the jig. You want to bend your jig and then your paper will come off. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's all sorts of pretty. Okay, let me show you my card while I'm cleaning up that I created in that same color combination using an inlay technique. So this card is on my channel currently, so you can see me how I did all of this. Powder background, I think this was nectar or creamsicle, and then sorbet, and then nectar in the center, and then avocado and artichoke, right? So I just went with 2 different greens there, but same color combination in a different design. And look, so pretty, right? I love it. Hope you guys watch this video. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite cards that I made in a while. Okay, I'm going to clean off my jig. And to clean off your jig, you just want to wipe it gently. Remember that jigs, you will need to buy more jigs. So the more you use them, the less sticky they will be. You don't want to use any kind of sticky spray on them to make them re-sticky because it might make them too sticky and then you won't be able to get your paper out. So just buy more jigs. It's, you know, we have a lot of products that we use like dies and stamps that we can use over and over again, but some things we're just going to need to buy again. And I did link the jigs below in the single and the 3-pack too. So you can get a 3-pack from Concord and Ninth. Okay, so let's see here. What time is it? It's 12. Okay. As Lisa says, so pretty. You're more patient than I am with inlay. Oh, you know what? Inlay is a thing. It's a technique, but it produces the most beautiful results. So I tell myself, like, it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay. So give me a color combination, you guys. Give me something. Just throw out some colors here. What is a Concord and Ninth color combination that you have used recently that you have just loved? I'd love to just do one on the fly here. And my inks are just over there, so I can grab any inks possible. Tammy said, I just watched that video this morning. I hope you liked it, Tammy. Hope you liked it. Yeah, so Jen, I know you know your Concord and Ninth inks. Tell me. Watermelon, yes. Let me grab some watermelon. That's a good one to start with. Because I haven't used pink yet, really, and this is a pinky pink. So we can start with watermelon. Let's do it, Tammy. And I can use any of these colors I have over here. Stardust does go with everything. I do love Stardust. I use Stardust on that one. So pretty. Watermelon creamsicle. Oh, Roberta's going with the summer camp colors. Let me see if I have Stardust over here. Where did I put it? I think I do somewhere. Oh, it's behind me. Ah, okay. Let's see. Hey, Mary Kay. Nice to see you. Oh, this is pretty. Look. So watermelon, creamsicle, Stardust. But now we need like a darker color to go with that. Something dark. Oh, Buttercup and Sprout, Roberta. Oh, that's an interesting one. Let's see. Okay, Buttercup and Sprout. What would that be like? We should try it. That's like that's a bright one. Let's go for it. Oh, Jen said rainforest. So let's see what you guys think. Should we go with watermelon, creamsicle, buttercup, and rainforest? Or should we go with all the bright colors and use Sprout? What do you guys think? Or we could do this and rainforest. That's actually quite pretty. Let's try that. Let's try it. I am here for it. Yep, let's do it. Okay, Mary Kay says pretty. We're just gonna go. Okay, so this is our third panel that we've made in just a few minutes, and I've talked a lot. So sitting, you know, when you sit down to do this, you can make a lot of panels. All right, we're starting out with watermelon, making sure my jig is in the corner. Don't wanna mess up now. We're on a roll. I think watermelon is one of my inks that definitely needs to be re-inked. Yeah, Mary Kay says brights. Let's try this, and then maybe we can do the brights next. We got some time. But I also want to show you the sentiments too. I'm finding that lately having a tool to help me press down has really helped. Having some like hand and wrist issues on my right side right now. And so if you ever get that, I highly recommend grabbing a stamping tool. I'll link this one in the video too. So there's watermelon. Ooh, so pretty. I love watermelon. Okay, clean that off. Clean off our stamp. And if you are, say you need to make a batch of thank you cards, like 20, you had a party, and you need to make 20 graduation thank you cards. This is a great way to make those 20 cards. If you have to mass produce, a Turnabout is a great thing to have on hand. Watermelon is luscious, says Mary Kay. Yes. Jen says lemongrass and rainforest is pretty too. Wildberry is so juicy. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is. You want to go light, go in easy with Wildberry because it is a juicy color. Let's grab creamsicle here. So pretty. Need to re-ink my creamsicle. Got to do that today. Just remind myself. I love those two together too. Look at how gorgeous that looks with those together. Amazing. I just love it. Okay, lift that up. Wipe our stamp off. Now we're gonna go with Stardust. This is gonna be an interesting one. Let's see what Stardust does with this color combination. I think it could be good because Stardust, can't remember who said it, but Stardust does go with everything. Highly agree. I love Stardust as a color. I remember when I first got my Concord and 9th inks, Stardust was by far my favorite. Oh, and before we do anything, we want to turn this to 3 because as you start to put your plate down, you will see that it lines up with your last one. That's when you know it's wrong. You don't want it to line up with your last one. Oh, pink lemonade, creamsicle, buttercup, and tide pool. Jen, you better try that one when you get your set. Post it on Instagram. Tag me. Show me what it looks like. Okay, here's Stardust. Pull that one off. Pretty. Let's see what it does with rainforest. That's kind of cool. It's like unexpected. A little bit unexpected. Okay, and then making sure this is nice and dry. And I'm going to turn this to number 4 before we go to rainforest. Jackie says Wildberry is beautiful, but I found it hard to get off of the stamp. Yeah, and Jackie, if you know, when you have stained stamps, that just means they're loved stamps. That's it. I don't mind if my stamps are stained. Any kind of red that you put on your stamps, they're gonna get pretty stained right away the first time you use them, for sure. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's make a sentiment for this one. Let's do that next. Pulling that off, and then I'm gonna pull this off. Oh, I just like that a lot. That was a team effort, you guys. Good job. So pretty. That's so pretty. Okay, and I wouldn't have thought to put Sprout in with that, and I'm glad we did. But you're right, Buttercup and Sprout would just be like the lighter end of that combination. Okay, so you want to clean off all the things so that you don't smudge anything or stain anything, or, you know, you just worked so hard on your background, so clean everything up. I'm going to leave this on my stamp platform right now and take it off later. You also want to protect your jig by putting the acetate right back on top, because the jig, and I find the easiest way to do that is to line it up in the corner, put your acetate on the corner, and then it lines up perfectly. Lisa says, so many of my stamps are stained pink. Yes, so true. So true. Okay. Putting this all over here, I'm going to pull out my die cutting machine, and let's see what we got. I don't think I can do it on my Scout because this is a little bit bigger. Ooh. And look at this, I still have this on here. My beautiful word. This is what falls out of the center. And so it's a great one to keep because then you can use those offcuts. Okay. And I'm gonna get this off. You wanna make sure there's no remnants left on your stamp platform. Okay. So let's grab our Delightful Day die. It did turn out pretty, Tammy. So let's do, before we did Have a Beautiful Day, let's see. I did Have a Beautiful Day before. Ta-da. Let's do Have a Delightful Day this time. So what you want to do first is grab the outline and use some white cardstock to get that cut out. And I have 2 pieces of craft tape here. Also have my blue tape from, mint tape I should say, from scrapbook.com. And I just want to make sure that I get this die on my paper. Have you ever placed a die on there and then realized you cut off a little part of it? So disappointing. Okay, there's that. And my plate. Plate is right there. And we're going to run this through. Oh, that's a good idea. If you condition your stamps with Versamark, then it prevents them from staining so much. That's a great tip, Roberta. Oh, Mary said she already did all her homework for Jolly Holiday. Yes, if you guys don't know, we have a one-day Christmas event at SCT happening on the 27th, so that's what everybody's talking about. So there's my shadow, and I'm excited too. And I have a vacation in Canada happening, so that I will be in Canada for the 27th with Catherine in the studio. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, if we're gonna do this one, then let's do Rainforest for the background, the Have a Day. Oh, that just gave my camera a workout. Okay, so we're gonna do the Have a Day in Rainforest. I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut off a little bit here. So I'm not die cutting that entire big piece. Yes, you guys, we have homework is up for Jolly Holiday. I have the majority of it, so don't hate me. It's gonna be okay. It's really is. The card that has the most homework is, you know, the die cut pieced scene card, and it's so worth the homework. It's so worth it. It's so pretty. Okay, so here's the have a day. Look how great this cuts too. It cuts out just perfectly. And my tape has been well loved, so it did tear it. It tore it, but that's okay because I'm going to cover that piece. But just be careful when you take off your tape so it doesn't do that. Oh, it was too sticky for rainforest. Okay, we're going to put this down here, and then I'm going to clean off my mat because it has a few die cut pieces stuck on it, and you never want to have those there because they'll leave impressions on your next die cut. Okay, so we can either go with, I think we should do Stardust because that's the closest thing to rainforest, and I think it'll look nice on top of that, but I may be wrong, but let's see. I'm going to grab some Stardust, trim this, and grab the Delightful. So this one will just cut the delightful word, but if you take the outline, it will cut the word and the banner, and that's what you want. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of Stardust here, and then we're going to line this up because you want it to be right in the middle of that banner so that your word is centered. And try not to mess it up as I do. Okay, hold it down. Grab some tape. Okay, and then put your top on, and we're gonna have a word banner. Oh, you'll be watching. That's great, Roberta. And Holly, if you don't do the homework, that's okay. You can just watch first and play later. Okay, so look at this one. I need my spatula. So there's your delightful word. And then you have all your letters. Isn't that cute? You want to save the center of your letter. So I want the middle of that D for when I'm building this sentiment, but everything else I can save over here for another card, because then you can use that word without the other banner. You can just put it on the first die cut that you did. Okay, so putting this back over here. Let's grab our card front and go down a little bit. How pretty is that? I do love that. Love it. That's cute. I think that's going to work. Oh, that's so cute. And then you know what you can do to add more flowers on? You can stamp your single flowers, like these ones here, and you know, put a watermelon one there to add a little bit more pink to your sentiment. Love it. Love it. Let me grab my reverse tweezers. Let's build this sentiment up. I also love the fantastic word because it's in a really pretty script. Yeah. Oh, Mary Kay's expecting another box for an event next week and you're busy. Yeah, get your homework done. If you want to play with us on the 27th, definitely get that done. Plus, if you have questions, go ahead and read through the homework now, so that if you do have questions, you can ask us before, like well before the event. Because it's really hard on event day if people are asking us questions about the homework when we're trying to deal with, you know, class stuff. Okay, so here's have a day. And I'm going to put this on the shadow layer. I love when things have a shadow layer because especially when you have a busy background like you create with your turnabouts, then that shadow layer really helps that stand out. Really does. Okay, and then we're going to do delightful, cute. So I like to do, for something like this, the outside first, and then I'm going to go and put dots in the center because you want to make sure you get glue in between those letters too to make sure it really sticks down. Okay, and then this lines up perfectly with the banner on the die cut. You could always pop that up too. If you were super patient, you could make a little shaker and it could shake behind the word. It'd be like a long skinny shaker, but it would work. Oh, let me grab that center of that D. My magnet's stuck to me here. And put that in. Oh, Lisa's doing the Hero Art stamp along this weekend. Oh, yeah. That's good. You'll have fun with that one. Okay, there's that. There's my Have a Delightful Day. And then you know what I'm going to do? I am going to back this onto a piece of cardstock. And I think we should use rainforest. I think we should use some rainforest. Let's do that. So I'm going to cut an A2 size piece, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I think this should already be 5 1/2. Yep, because I usually cut those to that size. And then this guy, I'm going to trim down. Doorbell. It's probably a package. It's not my son. He's not home today. No. Let's see. Let's do, the last time I did a class, let's do an 1/8 of an inch on each side. My son was outside with my husband, but raced back on his bike and got to the house before my husband, and then proceeded to ring the doorbell over and over and over again while I was teaching. And so I thought maybe there was some kind of emergency, like somebody was dead. No. It was just my son, like, hey, can you let me in? Daddy's not back yet, sort of thing. So that was fun. But I actually had to go out while I was teaching and let him in the house. It was fun. Toddlers are awesome. Yeah, Stardust does dry back, Jen. Absolutely. Look how pretty that is. I just love that, the way that's been framed there. Ooh, I'm going to use this wide tape from scrapbook.com because it's right here. I have it. Let's use it. This tear tape is great. It's a lot less expensive than tape runners. Where'd my scissors go? And this stuff sticks. You can be sure of that. So you can use 3 pieces on your A2 panel and it is going to stick just great. Now I could pop this up too, but if you want to create something that is easy to mail, then I would rather pop up my sentiment instead of the panel. Okay, and then I need, where did my spatula go? I don't know, we might have to use our nails because I lost my spatula. Let's try this. Ooh, yep, nails today. I don't know where it went. It's on my desk somewhere. It's probably like underneath a stamp or a die, or at the end of these lives, there's just stuff everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Yep, Mary Kay said rainforest makes that sentiment pop more. Absolutely. Okay, let's put this on. So on this one, our watermelon is just kind of just a highlight, you know? It is not, doesn't play a massive role. It's more about the greens on this one. The Stardust and our rainforest. Here's that. And then we can pop up our Have a Delightful Day. I love that. That is just the cutest thing I've ever seen. Okay, let's get our foam tape here. This is kind of the lower loft version of my foam tape. And I'm going to do a big one right here in the center. I think the rainforest is like making my camera go crazy though. So it's dark. It's very dark. And I'm going to do this here. And a little piece here for my A, because I don't want that to sag. So I'm going to put that there. And you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more here and here at the top, because we don't want any sentiment sagging. We don't want anything sagging, but mostly our sentiment. Okay, and then pop that there. Put this down here for good measure. And let's pop that on. And you know, usually when I do these busier backgrounds, I don't often put enamel dots on. I'll put clear gems because I think that they, you know, just add a little bit of shine without adding any more color. That is so pretty. Now, where do I want to put it? Do I want to put it a little bit higher? I think I do. Have a delightful day. Super cute. Now, I'll show you two more color combinations. So I would use these. These are from Concord and 9th as well, and they're the dewdrops, and I love them. But super pretty. I just love that. Love that card. So let me show you two more that I didn't create on camera, that I created before to get prepped. This is Sea Glass, Stardust, Grapefruit, and Juniper. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And I love the Stardust here with Juniper and Sea Glass. I just think that's really pretty. And then the Grapefruit is that nice, like less dark than the Sorbet. And I just think that's really pretty. And that one, I did that sentiment. Love it. I just think that that's winning combination. This one is more of, I don't know how I feel about it. I think I would probably change the Aqua Sky. So this is Dove for the gray, Aqua Sky, Grapefruit, and Blueberry. And I think I would try to change that Aqua Sky to maybe powder to see if I liked that better. But it's still pretty. It's just, I think it needs a little bit of a tweak, little tweak. So I see you guys saying that you can't wait for the release to come in. Yes. Oh, and Roberta ordered the cowboy boot from the release. That's fun. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my main screen so I can say goodbye. But that's the Delightful Day bundle, you guys. And Turnabouts, if you've never used them before, I really hope that today has shown you how easy they are to create with. I mean, once you get everything lined up and placed with the aid, then you are set and ready just to ink up and stamp, clean, turn, ink up, stamp, clean, turn. You know, it's so easy. So look, I mean, how many cards did I make here in such a short period of time? I literally did, I think, 4 or 5 panels in half an hour the other night to get ready. So I hope you guys will give the Delightful Day bundle a try, because it's Concord and 9th's newest Turnabout, but there are so many in their shop. So be sure to go and check all of them out too. I hope, oh yeah, Mary Kay just got the mod Turnabout. That's a good one. That's a good one. If you are new to my channel, be sure to hit subscribe so that you can find me live on Fridays. Now, next Friday, yes, next Friday I will be able to go live because we had to change our vacation plans. So I will go live next Friday, and I will see you with some other fun new product and technique, idea, whatever I've got in this brain of mine. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Yeah, just happy creating, guys. And be sure to follow me on Instagram too. And I should put that up here. Let's put that up here. Follow me on Instagram so you don't miss anything I'm creating. I have 2 other videos that went live this week, one with Concord and 9th and one with Spellbinders. So catch up on those on YouTube here. Thank you, Jen. Jen says, make sure you give a thumbs up too. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. I will see you back here next week. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Better press of the month. Nope. I will see you back here next week for another fun live. Bye-bye.